Good evening and welcome to the We Are Rise show. I'm your host, Brett C. Collins. How you doing? Yeah, we're going to get fired up tonight. I might even break the screen. Seeing a lot of great stuff that's happening. We're going to go right to it in regards to what's taking place with the FBI in Georgia, raiding election facilities. Yeah. You know, he only lost Georgia by what? About 11,722 votes. I wonder if it's all there. I think we'll find out very soon. Let me kick on the music and stuff. I know a lot of people want to ask it. Let's welcome my co-host, Marshall Smith. What's going on, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. What's
Freezing
that?
your ass? Freezing your
Not
ass?
yet. This weekend is going to be the one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nippy at night. I don't like it.
Right.
But yeah, we got that 20s coming down this way for the weekend.
I know, man.
But it'll be spring next week, so.
I know. It's been brutal. It's been brutal. How's everybody doing out there? Welcome in Pill.net. What's up, Rumble? How you doing? I want to say a shout out to Thea. I'm sorry about your dog. The dog has lymphoma. She's going to have to put the dog down tomorrow or Friday, and my best wishes and prayers to you. I went through it, and I was living out of a bottle for like 6 months. That's how bad it was for me. So I can empathize. I can sympathize because I went through that, and I know how painful it is. I mean, it's just brutal. I had to deal with my wife and then, my own personal emotions, and there's not a day that I didn't wake up thinking about it. So, you move on, but, there's nothing I can say or anybody could say. It just, these are the things that, we go through in life, and unfortunately, our fur babies mean something quite different than when it is when we have children in some way. Because we know their time is short, it's passive, and, I don't know what else to say about that, but unfortunately, the limited amount of time that we have with them still just changes everything. And I think it's just, it's tough. It really is tough. And I know Darla lost her dog or had to put her fur baby down. So for people who have fur babies out there, bless your heart, because it's a very difficult thing. That shows our humanity. And yes, I would take over a dog, rescue a dog, than a third world refugee. Okay? I'd rather drop them in the ocean and see if the sharks want to chomp on that dark meat. I'm sick of these people. I'm sick of all of everything that I'm seeing. We'll get to Tucker Carlson, and I disagree with Tucker. I'm sorry, Tucker's wrong. Whether we're in a de facto state of civil war or not, it doesn't matter. We've been invaded. We're dealing with bullshit left and right. I'm not saying I want to see a civil war. I don't like anything that I'm seeing now. Tonight's show, Bovino, the Scapegoat, NVEs, which are nihilist, violent extremists. Wait till you hear this shit. It's bad. Mixed signals, finger pointing, blame game. It's all over the place. Do we just give in? Do we swim downstream? What does Trump say? He goes, go along with a convention, swim downstream, easily with the current, give in because it's the easy way. It's the traditional way. It's the accepted way. No, we don't do that. I want heads. I want people hung. I want to see people, executed for the crimes against humanity, the crimes of stealing elections, the thrift and the grift and the graft of America. I'm sick of everything. I'm sick of it all. I'm sick of it all. The stolen election, well, that's coming into focus. Let's cover that right now, Marshall, because you sent me something, but I want to cover that tonight. Like, share, and subscribe. It's very important. Help out the platform. Hit the red pill to like it. Obviously, we're on YouTube, so if you want to help out on YouTube, you can share and subscribe over there. You can help out on Rumble, buymeacoffee.com/wearerise, or you can help out Marshall, ko-fi.com/surfdog74. We're going to get to all your thank yous and all your commentary very soon. Fur babies are the best. Yep, True Terran. Couldn't agree more. And their meaning has weight on so many different levels, more spiritual than you could possibly imagine. Let's get to this. So I'm going to talk about this right now, Marshall, because I think I want to jump to this, even though it's not really in the title of our discussion. that we're really wanting to focus on. And I didn't want to really completely just, drown out everything. But I think this is important. This is about the stolen election that we talk about night in and night out. FBI raids Fulton County, Georgia election office. This is breaking. FBI is executing a search warrant in connection to 2020. I mean, this is great news. I mean, President Trump said just a couple of days ago, he said at Davos that people are going to go to jail. Now, does that mean Secretary of State Raffensperger, the governor of Georgia? I mean, he's going to run for president. I don't know about his chances now. Are they all going to be pulled in, dragged in? The FBI raids Fulton County as a result of court-authorized search warrant and for some convincing evidence. All these ties with open border, the illegals, ICE protests, everything revolves election fraud.
Fox News is learning FBI agents are on site at a Fulton County election office in Georgia, where they are conducting a search. David Spunt's got more details for us on this developing story. David?
Hi, Sandra. This is a satellite office for the Fulton County Elections Office. The FBI Atlanta press office confirming this, not giving many details, saying that the FBI is executing a court-authorized law enforcement action. No other details at this time, but we do know via sources a judge signed off on this warrant, allowing these agents, as you see them, enter this building to take items from the inside. Now, we're told that this is a sealed matter before the court, meaning details are now limited. Now, agents are looking at documents, phones, computers. We are told via multiple sources this is related to the 2020 presidential election. Now,
boom, that's it. FBI agents were seen Wednesday carrying out a search at the election hub in Fulton County, Georgia. Agents were seen entering Fulton County hub and operations center, new facility. State officials opened in 2023. It's not immediately clear what the FBI were investigating. We know what they're investigating. Here comes from Wall Street Apes. This is a good one. Listen to this.
Fulton County in Georgia is under scrutiny after it emerged that some early votes from 2020 election were not signed by poll workers writing on.
See, I said 11,722. It's 779. Let's not forget Joe Biden warned that. Think about if the votes were pulled out and you show that the election was stolen and all that he had to do was win Georgia and they covered it up. Holy hell is coming, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, forget about the civil war that's taking place right now. The fact is that we want to basically excommunicate every single scumbag, illegal criminal, alien scum off this fucking mortar coil that we call the United States of America. Yeah, we want them thrown into the rivers so the sharks can eat them. We want to sever ties with all third worlders. It's not just about that. It's about this and how it all ties in, because the bottom line is the Democrats utilize these people, these cocksuckers, these disgusting, smelly, banana-eating rice monkey fucking shit, all right, people, to what? Steal our vote, steal our money, steal our elections, and we're stuck with what? This bullshit and nonsense. Listen to this.
Various commentators allege voter fraud. The allegations came after on December 9th hearing before the Georgia State Election Board. Ann Brumbaugh, attorney for Fulton County Board of Registration Elections, said that some of the ballots were counted lacked required poll worker signature during the 2020 election. Vote tabulation tapes are signed to verify the accuracy of votes before they are transported to a central office and used for auditing the ballot, because there is no evidence that the ballots were not legitimate because they weren't signed. And some commentators noted that this was procedural lapse. A recounted hand audit of ballots in Georgia at the time confirmed Joe Biden won the debate. In the hearing, the lawyer did not dispute that the tapes were not signed. It was a violation of the rules. She said President Trump and his allies have consistently claimed without evidence that the 2020 election was stolen from President Joe Biden, did not win in Georgia.
I'll stop right there and I'll continue. Marshall, President Trump says all the time the election was stolen. We all say the election is stolen. Now it's going to be proven that the election is stolen because by going into Fulton County, and as they're supposed to hold on to all the receipts of 2020, and if it's proven in some way that Secretary of State Raffensperger, the governor, and many other people inside that county withheld information because they initially called it for the president in 2021, President Trump, and then they pulled it back. So the question is, Who was involved? Why were they involved? Why did they do this? How much did they get the payoff? And here's the thing. Does any of these people that are inside the Georgia government, do they go to jail? I mean, it's federal law. You stole an election. You saw what it did. How many people are participating with information now? Let's finish. Let's continue.
In other states, Trump claimed that the ballots were duplicated and that there were other voter fraud issues in the county. Vinny, what have you learned about this story?
And Humberto,
this is a Newsweek story I just read.
Yeah, I put it in to Rob's Slack. You'll see the girl in court, and she's admitting to it. Look at the Slack that I Slack Rob. But I want everybody to remember, not only was Trump saying it, when we were all saying it, when you were watching, voting. Yes, thanks. Humberto, hold on 1 second. When we were talking about cheating in Georgia, and this is Fannie Willis, this whole situation, okay? And let's not forget, Joe Biden won Georgia by 11,779 votes, okay? Now, 5 years later, they're admitting 315,000 votes were illegally counted.
Boom. There you go. President Trump wins Georgia. He won the 2020 election. They stole it. What are the repercussions? We're going to find out, Marshall. We're going to find out very soon. But it seems like to me that anybody in Fulton County working with the governor or maybe the Secretary of State, Raffensperger, they're all going to jail.
You know, I find it also interesting, the timing of this, that it's happening right while this whole Minnesota thing is going on. There may be some connection somehow.
Well, do you think Minnesota was stolen? Because I would argue, I would venture to guess that the reason why President Trump intervened, interdicted, and, let's just say pivoted from this is because he still wants people's eyes on the amount of fraud, the fraud that is permeated through the state of Minnesota, not just walking out the door to Minnesota, outside to Somalia from these Somalian scumbag monkeys. We're talking about the grift and the graft for decades that has taken over this state. And you could see how the black bloc and how they're totally controlled and captured. And the state is isolated with so much fraud and theft and grift and stuff. I think he wants to make sure that we move away from the discussion of what's taking place on the ground, on the battleground, and more about what's really taking place inside the governmental, state capitol, and everything else.
Yeah, and I think that's another reason why Homan is there. Homan is more of a government animal. He's not a ground troop guy like Bovino. Bovino was a street guy with his troops. Homan is more of, and I wouldn't be surprised if Homan has a group there with him that are going through the fraud part of it. I think that's part of the main reason he's there. But back to the Georgia thing.
Yeah.
I hope people go to jail. I guarantee you Raffensperger.
He's fucked. He's fucked. He is so fucked.
And Kemp was involved heavily.
Well, he's Secretary of State. He's in charge of the counting, Marshall.
Right.
I don't want to interject, but he's in charge. He supervisors. So that means that how did you come back now just recently and say 350,000 ballots were improperly utilized and signed off on? Well, that rests with you. That rests with the Secretary of State. They were improperly what? Deviated counted as real votes. Yeah.
They ran and ran and ran. We watched them on video.
Yep.
And I would think that at least those ground level people would be some of the first, the black woman with her black daughter that worked there. And
I don't know. Did she get immunity? Whatever happened
the hell
to that
knows what happened to all of them.
Yeah, I don't know.
All
what
those
happened to
people should be cleaned up and arrested, man. But we'll see. I mean,
I'd rather go after the higher ups inside.
Absolutely, all of them.
Because the thing is, the low hanging fruit is irrelevant. Even though you can simultaneously circle back with them, pivot back in some way, I think it's important to focus on the levels of government. Go after the governor. Go after the Secretary of State.
Yeah.
Go after the supervisor of counties. Go after the election people. Go after them. Let's play this. Marshall sent me quite a bit of stuff, but I'm going to play this. This is what's happening. The FBI seized 2020 election ballots in Fulton County. This is what you wanted, ladies and gentlemen. We've been saying here on this platform, the 2020 election was stolen. We got fucking hosed. January 6th, everything that precipitated thereafter was because of this. And think about how many people's lives were destroyed, how many people were murdered and killed in the process. This is bigger than you can possibly imagine. And everything points to what? Election fraud. And I ask you, will the midterms happen when this is exposed? I think people will demand it should not be. And I was looking up a viability to see how can we curb that. Only Congress can do it. If Congress is suspended, let's just say a lot of these people are arrested that participated in this stuff with the steal. Yes, they can. The president can't sign off on an executive order. The Supreme Court can't get involved, although they can just rule X, Y, and Z. Under the Constitution, Congress is the only one that regulate the actual date and position, and if we're going to have an election, forthwith. I mean, my attitude about seeing this in some way, can we get Speaker Johnson to lay out the wood onto his members and say, maybe we need to pause this? I don't know. But the optics of everything, of people being arrested and being brought down for this criminal conspiracy, this RICO, this theft of election, would surely make people pull their hair out and say, yeah, I'm not voting. Fuck you, Uniparty. Fuck you, Republicans. Fuck you, Democrats. And I think that's where we're going. Let's play this.
Inside of the election facility, our photographer was able to go inside. He was let inside and allowed to be up and close. As you can see, this is interesting because one of the questions we did ask Larry was if agents were restricting his access or asking him to back up at all. And he said that so far they've been allowing reporters to get up close to the situation.
Outside if you want to take that.
Yeah. Okay, so now agents are asking them to back up.
Actually, you shouldn't even be in this area, but
hey, you know what? I don't have a key, so there you go.
Okay.
Okay, so agents are asking them to back up, saying our crew should not be in this area. So this is something we're going to continue to monitor. And as our photojournalist gathers more information and reporter Larry Sproul gathers more information, we're going to.
All I'm saying is about the 2020 election, it will reverberate throughout the United States and the world that election and losing that election, or that election being stolen, will permeate through everything. We'll talk about the Ukraine war. It will basically dissect everything and anything that had its feelies on or off, that it just was immovable through. And I think many people will look at this and say, this was a time in history that it should have never have happened. And since it did happen, we now have to what? Really dissect and think about our elections going forward and what is going to change. This is why I think that President Trump keeps saying, Marshall, many a times, maybe we shouldn't have elections. Maybe elections should be postponed. And only Congress can do it. Now, they can do it, meaning the House of Representatives, and then send it right to the president. The Senate will have to sign off on it. But the point being and stuff, will they do that? No, they won't do that. I mean, but if many people are a part of this, let's just say affront, this fugazi, you'd have to think about how the election was stolen from 2020 and passed over to 2021, and then where we are right now. So many people could be caught in what? The crosshairs of this in some way, and then reveal to a lot of people that not only elections are selected, they're not really elected, and that this whole thing will be brought down. And I think people will demand that there might be a temporary pause. Now, Congress can do this. I don't know if there's going to be a finite alert. They can alert people. The Supreme Court could step in. But it depends. If Congress, the highest power, highest elements of Congress at the time, Nancy Pelosi and many others, help to facilitate with any other, let's just say, prime actors inside and outside the United States, I don't think anybody's going to want to vote anymore, Marshall.
Well, I mean, I find one of the things about couple things about this I find interesting is it seems almost like they're trying to take the spotlight off of Minnesota for now
Mm-hmm.
and kind of shine a little bit more light over here. And I think it may be because they're trying to do a lot of things up in Minnesota and they want to kind of be out of the picture. I don't know. That's a kind of a gut feeling I got.
Who wants to be out of the picture? So you're suggesting
Our
that
guys. We want our guys not really in the because all the fraud that they're finding up there now.
right?
And they
It's
don't
pretty
want
bad
the-
over there.
Yeah, and they don't want the media and all that shit there. I mean, it seemed logical that you would, show this thing down. And another thing that's interesting
Yeah.
is that the Minnesota thing was brought on by public civilians,
Yeah.
just regular civilians, whereas the one in Atlanta is brought on by the federal government.
Yeah, this is going to be
Just interesting, all
quite
the-
different. I think that President Trump and orchestrating the actual discussion about, that's why we got to tamper this down. We got to pull this back because Minnesota is at the heart of a massive statewide corruption that has to do with the 2020 stolen election. I mean, for decades, almost you go back 2020, it's always voted blue or purple in some way. So this state has a massive amount of fraud and theft of elections because of the illegal criminal alien scum that's involved in the theft and the grift and the billions of dollars all over the place. So I think President Trump wanted to ratchet this down. So the actual discussion about election fraud, let's just say, for example, table that we're serving up for dinner is going to be what? Part and parcel of why Minnesota had a hand in this in some way. President Trump won Minnesota, but it was stolen. And so he wants to showcase, he wants to illuminate in some way to everybody that this is what happens, okay, when you steal elections, because you allow a certain client base to come in here. And this has been decades. Well, I will just say, let's just go back to 25, 26 years. I would say back to late 90s. This is how bad it is. Ex-Dominion, this comes from Publius. Ex-Dominion voting system executive Eric Comer admitted under oath January 27, 2020, that was yesterday, deposition in Comer versus Brine, to discussing voting equipment, adjudication software, and source code with foreign nationals, including Serbians, we talked about that, who could remotely troubleshoot in the Denver office. This contradicts years of Dominion denials of foreign involvement in U.S. elections. Charlie Cann, attorney for Eric Comer, assaulted Biden's attorney, Peter Tickton, several times after losing the motion to suppress questions. Don't worry about the election. Trump's not going to fucking win. I made fucking sure of it. Listen, if you have any doubt in any way, any supposition in some way that 2020 was not stolen, there's so much evidence out there. 2020 is going to change everything. It's not going to, it's not just going to, let's just say, reintroduce legislation about, illegals and stuff. What is going to showcase is that every illegal criminal alien in this country needs to be moved out, number one. And whether you're violent or not, you're gone because you're getting money to subsidize the election theft. That's number one. Number two, that we need a moratorium on having anybody come in this country. That's obvious. We can't have people in this country anymore because the bottom line is all they do is subvert and bring down our country, attack us, steal from us. They destroy every parcel of what American culture is. And you know what? Fuck the Muslims. I can't wait till we go into Michigan. Fuck these smelly dirt. You know what? I'll just say this. Look, when this is clear and this is made responsibly obvious to everybody, these people will be begging us to pay them to leave. Let's be clear about that. If not, will be hunting these people like deer. You think I'm joking? I'm not. There are many people that I see out there that are counterbalancing a militia because the military doesn't want to do it at this time or yet to do it. And that's why the Bovino thing, he was left out to hang out and dry from DHS. And I'm not going to defend, DHS secretary. I mean, come on. I'm not. He was left to hang out and dry. Maybe on purpose. I don't know. But I'm not going to defend her. But the illustration that we're seeing here and what we're understanding, the orchestration of what is taking place, it's going to get a lot uglier for America. Does that teeter us on a civil war? Well, Tucker Carlson says we're not in a civil war. And I said, I think about it. I'm like, I've been saying we've been in a de facto state of civil war. I don't think we're necessarily in a civil war per se. We're dealing with what? A lot of different factions that are involved that are outside this country. Look at this. The point is, what I'm saying is that somehow something has to be popped off and something has to be, let's just say, a shot across the bow. We need to have some type of movement to change this. And look, all these other people that are out there that are doing all these horrible things and stuff that, I was angry about, that we retreated, and I'm going to discuss it very soon. I'm going to show you this, and let me just get back to it because I'm just totally focused on one thing. But today was a great day for the 2020 stolen election. FBI agents have docked the truck. Look at this. That's a massive truck, Marshall. Wouldn't you say?
Yep.
That's a lot of documents. So the question is, how many of these illegal ballots that they're going to go through of 350,000 that we're going to what? Find the truth regarding what? The stolen election? Are we going to find the truth about the stolen election? I think so. I think it's going to be purposely remedied very soon. It will actually interfere with our current situation that we're in about voting this year. I mean, I know there are a lot of people that are not going to vote. They're basically saying, I'm not voting. I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to be involved. I don't really care. You know what? That's fine. I understand. I'm not paying my taxes. That's fine. I don't care. That's all. I mean, you do what you do, you. Okay? I'm not going to fucking criticize you. I'm not going to attack you. I hope you do what you got to do. But in context of the 2020 stolen election, which to me is the biggest thing, it's the biggest thing that we can possibly imagine because it has tentacles all over the place, Marshall. And once you walk this back and unsettle this whole thing, January 6th, all the arrests, the pardons, everything that has taken place, all the murders, the deaths, the illegal aliens that come in this craze, America will be screaming bloody hell. People will be demanding. They will be out in the streets saying, I'm going to kill an illegal alien. And I'm okay with that. Illegal aliens, whether violent or not, have to be forced. Okay, let's put it this way. Let me just say this because I had a lot of thoughts that I put into it tonight. These illegal alien scum, Marshall, you should not be allowed to exist in any capacity or like an American citizen, naturalized or native. Squeeze them out so that the very existence of being here is so difficult, they have no choice but to leave or force them to leave. That means bank accounts, rental properties, Section 8. Make sure that we corner the market, that none of these people have an opportunity to take some type of what? Some type of opportunity away from American citizen because they get some third world status.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think they should be debanked. They should have been debanked. Everything defunded. No food stamp, none of that. Looks like they've been working on that, but
yeah.
Debank them. You shut down their bank and no way that they can cash, Another thing
Shut down the money from going overseas to their fucking third world scumbag family.
Yeah. and take all their assets.
Yeah.
The other thing I think
Seize
is,
the assets.
yeah, seize them. Yeah. The only other thing I think about the Georgia thing is
Mhm.
that the way that this is connected with the 2020 election, I believe that this could even empty out Congress. It has the potential to really just make the whole thing illegitimate.
Well, if it makes it illegitimate, because we're going to get into that, if it makes it illegitimate, so them going on break or pause in some way, so there are many people, there's like 5 more people that are resigning today. So if it ties into the House specters, the House like administrators in some way, how much does this in some way really curtail us wanting to move forward in some way? If it really broaches a breaking point in some way, many people will demand that the House cede power away. Now, the question is, where under the Constitution, only the House can change. Only the House can change the laws and change the date of the November midterms. Now, if the House is rendered moot in some way, where many people are arrested for participating on both sides, the uniparty side is completely true.
That's what I was saying. Yes.
And so if you empty out many different partitions, let's just say
only a few people,
2/3 of the House, let's just say 2/3 of the House that were part of this criminal enterprise to take down a 2020 election are gone. What happens thereafter? The Supreme Court have to get in. The Speaker, if he's not involved, let's just say if he's not involved, he would have to adjourn and say, we have to go and get some AG or Supreme Court authority on this, because in the Constitution, it is directly connected to that the House has to do this. They're in charge to change the date. Could they suspend it? Absolutely. But if there's nobody there, really, so whatever's left over as a majority will have to vote on this, because let's face it.
And I don't know if you could, because most of them are corrupt. And if that comes out with all the other stuff, which it seems to me this is all timed.
Right.
This is all deliberate, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
We've always said this. It's all deliberate. And this coming out today with Georgia, that ain't no coinky-dinky.
No.
There ain't no way. And there's going to be more and more all like, and you notice again, Trump he's happy. He's up there on stage today or whenever. He's, seems to me everything's going according to plan. I'll let you keep going. I know you've got another.
No, we got a lot. We got to get into what tonight's show is about. Let me say hello to Pilled and everybody else. Thea donating 700 gold pills, clusterfuck in Minnesota. It's fucked. Wood USA, 217 gold pills donation. Thank you so much. Thea dropping a cookie. Curious Cat, hello. Gifted the cookie. Evening, everyone. Evening to you. Thea donating 300 gold pills. Take it away, Brett. Thank you. Thea dropping another cookie. Super D dropping 117 gold pills. How you doing? One Thunder dropping a cookie. Thea donating 300 gold pills. Whatever has Congress ever done? This is a distraction for all the freaking fraud. Absolutely. And you know what? How many people inside of Congress are going to be on the hook for the 2020 election? That will be something to see. One Thunder dropping a cookie. Good to see everybody. I see Inacian. This is getting good. Alita, happy hump day. Yep. What's up, MG615? Hello, everybody out there. Like, share, and subscribe. If you want to support the platform, you know what to do. You can buy me at coffee.com/wearerise, or you can about Marshall, ko-fi.com/surfdog74. We're going to get into it. So Greg Bovino, I had a huge argument on Monday, and I was attacked by, some people came after me and said, you know what, you need to temper your expectations. And I told them, I'll stick this fucking pencil in your fucking eye. Because I had a couple of people contact me. Yeah, fuck you. Greg Bovino is a hero. But did he fall on a sword? Yes, he did. And I'm just going to say this as we move on rapidly. Yesterday, the president held discussions with Noam, Bovino, Borduzard, Tom Homan, Miller, Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, which culminated in a shocking attack on Bovino. Yeah, he is the scapegoat. He asked to be demoted so he can return to his earlier assignment as chief of border ops in El Centro, Cali, instead of being fired. So not to be fired, he is now the fall guy. I find this absolutely disgusting. And I'm gonna leave out my commentary about Noam and other people very soon. Noam Rapulli said, I wasn't even in Minneapolis, so it's not my fault. Secretary Noam is going to resign soon, as she should. She's not going to get fired because President Trump doesn't want to do that. Beside her sat confidant Corey Lewandowski, which is her lover, by the way. These two have massive problems in this administration. This is a lover. She's married and they're having an affair. Until I retire, I serve the nation in Minneapolis or California, Mr. President, Bovino told Trump. I appreciate the trust you placed in me. This guy is a fucking hero. A guy is a fucking hero. No sooner had the meeting ended, though Bovino found his government social media accounts and cell phone deactivated. Let me just put it this way. There are many discussions that are out there in some way that, he was inciting a lot of stuff. When you find out what's taking place, again, I will repeat this. He asked to be demoted so he can return to his earlier assignment. He was the fall guy in this thing. But I look at Kristi Noem that I said, what? About a month or two ago. She's going to resign. She's going to run for president. President Trump doesn't want to fire her. He's like, she's doing a wonderful job. No, she's not. You need a top cop in that agency. She's not. She's not. I mean, I find that you throw Stephen Miller under the bus, you throw this, everybody's pointing the fingers and blaming. I'm disgusted. I'm totally disgusted. Let's get back to it, Marshall. I'm going to show you this. Because at this point, you want real people to do a hard job. A hard job that takes what? Patience. It takes bravery. It takes integrity. It takes a lot to want to be a part of this in some way. And you want to what? Pull the biggest guy out there and replace him with another guy who likes to talk a lot. Oh, we're going to do this. We're going to do that. Fuck that. This is the only time I've ever criticized the administration. And I'm standing by it. Not because I'm blackpilling people. I find what they did and what levels of people in the administration who I don't like. I don't like Kristi Noem. I think she should resign. President Trump's not going to fire her. I think she will. Corey Lewandowski, that whole relationship thing is spun out of control. That needs to be looked at. I think you need to put, whether it's Tom Homan or somebody in a top cop, I think it's most likely it's going to happen. She will resign, and she's going to run for president. She has no, let's just say, real chops to be here. She was a governor of South Dakota. Good for her. But this is totally different. I know why she was put there. But the reality is, everything that we're seeing and everything that we're hearing is that they're pointing the finger. She said, I wasn't there in Minnesota, and I was just taking orders from Stephen Miller and President Trump. So you can't blame me. Fuck you! You need to resign, cunt!
That was a stupid thing to say.
Commander Bovino is supposedly leaving Minneapolis along with some CBP agents. Is this a pullback?
I don't think it's a pullback. It's a little bit of a change. Everybody in this room that has a business, you make little changes. Bovino is very good, but he's a pretty out there kind of a guy. And in some cases, that's good. Maybe it was.
Pretty out there kind of guy, President Trump. He's a guy that doing fucking hard labor for you in the administration. And you're going to say he's pretty much out there. I say that's a disrespect. And I love President Trump. But yet, I can be critical, and I'm not blackpilling. I don't like his retort. But Here we are.
Isn't good here. But you have to understand, when I watch some of the people that I've been watching over the last few weeks, these are paid insurrectionists. These are paid agitators.
He's 100% correct about that. I mean, they're mercenaries. We're going to get that. Go ahead, Marshall. You wanted to say something. I'm sorry.
No, I think his remark on that was, and after he said that could be good or it could be bad. I don't know. So I'm like, his remark on that was, he had this custom overcoat made, Bovino, with the wide lapel.
Yeah.
And it looked, kind of like the Reichstag or whatever they're called.
I know, but
and I'm like,
come on.
I get it. I thought it was cool as shit looking myself.
I mean, yeah, I thought it was badass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess Trump just, look.
But we went from deflect, diffuse, pacify, mollify, which is basically appease. I mean, what happened to resist, return, redress, and re-examine? Is that the next phase? I mean, let me just say this. I've had a lot of thought because I was going to do a show yesterday with Thomas, but he backed out.
The Freddie thing was the problem. That was the whole problem.
Right. Walking back and backpedaling, or even the mere appearance of withdrawing, even backing away, is foolhardy and very dangerous, ladies and gentlemen, especially on the basis of diffusing a situation of varied circumstances and scenarios based on the reaction to the exposure of a massive amounts of heinous and monstrous fraud, criminal fraud, that can be redressed in such a manner that the money cannot easily be or ever recovered, retrieved, or redeemed. The fallout of all this must be absolute and profound. I will continue that. Yet ICE is being pounded in the streets because of the intent and design through the mayor and the governor. We'll get to the deviation, the deflection and stuff, the de-escalation versus fallback, the denial, the dispersion, and withdrawal. My attitude about all this stuff is that did we cower in some way? Yes, we did. We did. You have to expect and respect the idea President Trump did pull back because of all the optics of this stuff. But the optics are now coming out and saying, hey, wait a minute, this guy's a piece of shit. This guy, Preddy, not good. Not good. So Trump pulled border control Bovino out of Minnesota for Tom Homan. So here we go. That's not playing.
Is this a pullback?
I don't think it's a pullback. It's a little bit of a change. Everybody in this room that has a business, you make little changes. Bovino is very good, but he's a pretty out there kind of a guy. And in some cases, that's good. Maybe
Yeah. You know what? I don't want to hear that, President Trump. You know what? He was loyal to you. He was supportive of you. And I find that your commentary about a guy that had shit thrown on him, he's been attacked left and right. Why don't you go out there and fucking do this? See, my attitude about how President Trump and DHS, Corey Lewandowski, who is, Noam's lover, and the way Stephen Miller has been attacked and stuff, it's just offensive. They're all pointing the fingers. They're all blame gaming, mixed signals, and everything. It falls upon two things: the DHS secretary and Pam Bondi. There should have been Justice Department people out there, FBI people who didn't want to be out there. For what? For all this stuff. And now we're finding out a lot of arrests are happening. And I find it absolutely embarrassing in some way that these people were left to defend themselves, and you're going to blame Bovino on this stuff? I think that is horseshit. I find it offensive. President Trump wouldn't be doing to the military in some way. So why do it to something that is really, let's just put it this way, really important to the American citizenry? 84% of us voted for you, President Trump, to what? Defend the borders, get rid of this miscreants, get rid of this illegal criminal scum. And you're throwing people on the bus in support of Secretary No, Corey Lewandowski, and then throwing, again, what? Your advisor, or basically saying, just looking away from your advisor who's being attacked by No, which, Tucker called out. It's embarrassing. She should resign. President Trump has full faith in her. She should resign. She's not going to get fired, but she should resign. Public stunt, Brett. Oh, okay. Let me play you a public stunt there, Trump one. Listen to Megyn Kelly, because Megyn Kelly said, last night, fuck this guy who got shot. I've been saying the same thing. She's on fire. This guy's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Piece of shit. Worse than you can possibly imagine. Listen to what she says.
Portman is super upset. I'm going to show you some breaking news about the man she's crying over. But here's Natalie Portman.
Fuck Natalie.
What's going
Portman.
on in our country right now is
Very joyful to be out
I don't care about actors.
before we came to air.
Don't care
And
about actors.
it is the headline from CNN in a piece by Jeff Winter and Priscilla Alvarez is Alex Peretti broke rib in confrontation with federal agents a week before death.
I'm
Sources say.
setting this up.
I'll give you the highlights now, and then we're bringing on Ruthless to react. Federal immigration officials or officers have been collecting personal information about protesters and agitators in Minneapolis, sources told CNN, and had documented details about Alex Peretti before he was shot to death on Saturday. It is unclear how Peretti first came to the attention of federal authorities, but sources told CNN that about a week before his death, he suffered a broken rib when a group of federal officers tackled him while he was protesting their attempt to detain other individuals. The earlier incident started when Peretti stopped his car after observing ICE agents chasing what he described as a family on foot and began shouting, blowing his whistle, according to a source who asked not to be named out of fear of retribution.
Good. I got so much limited time to go through this, Marshall. I just want to give you a little synopsis about this guy, Peretti. Megyn Kelly's been all over it, attacking and saying and going after his character. This guy is a bad guy, really bad, really dark, and we haven't even, let's just say, cover the truth. I got to move forward, but go ahead if you want to say something.
Oh, he's a scumbag. The media says
he's a bagel that got toasted, and everything bagel that got
they
toasted.
changed his picture to make it look like he's a regular guy.
Of course, because he's ugly.
Yeah, and he was a guy that worked at the VA, and he helped old people to try to walk again. 3 months ago, after he quit 3 months ago, and decided he was going to be a revolutionary.
Right.
And now now he's...
There you go. Headline: Trump surrendered. Won't arrest criminal illegal aliens anymore. Reality: this is MJ Truth. Border Patrol agents face temporary arrest restriction due to local leadership change. Tom Homan, not a Trump administration order for ICE and not to arrest non-criminals. Okay, don't fall for fake news. This is Nick Sorter, who's saying that they're not going to arrest non-criminal illegals. You got Tim Pool going womp womp. Look, I'm just going to try put it this way in some way. Whatever you want to think about all this stuff and how you perceive this in this way, Bovino was thrown under the bus. So I don't care about Nick Sorter. I don't care about Tim Pool in some way. Someone fell on the sword about all this stuff because they didn't like the optics of everything. They didn't like the way things were turning out and working for them. But now that the optics are out and you find out there's massive amounts of video about this guy, Peretti, all over the place.
I want to say one thing real quick, Brett, real quick. Bovino, I think he deliberately allowed himself to do this. And I think that Trump knows it. And I think Trump is going to end up saying that he knows what he did for him. That's what I think. That's just me.
Well, that's fine. I'm not, like I said, I'm not, someone was put on the chopping block, but I will say right now, Secretary Noem is defunct.
Yeah.
She's, you want to attack Pam Bondi. You want to attack, she's not doing anything about it. I would say Noem needs to resign. She's ineffectual. She's a joke. Corey Lewandowski, you got to go too. You're blaming Stephen Miller. You're pointing fingers. You're putting us in. These two people have to go. Embarrassment.
Her comment was not. That's no good.
I find these two people disgusting. Disgusting. It's not Stephen Miller's fault. He's a special advisor to the president. You're the Department of Homeland Secretary. You're an embarrassment. You do need to go. I don't like you. And I find that everything that you've done forthwith has been an embarrassment. You left these people to be hung out, and then you accused Stephen Miller and other people of what? Well, I wasn't there. It's not my fault. I didn't say all these things. Yes, you did. I'm not asking that she should be impeached, but she needs to resign. She does need to resign. She is an embarrassment. So Bill O'Reilly just exposed what he says is the most important thing about Minnesota saga and proves that the media is losing their minds about it. Let's play it a little bit.
Thing unreported.
Oh, unreported.
Okay? There is a man in Shanghai, China, an American citizen. His name is Neville Roy Singham. He works with the Beijing government. He is funneling millions of dollars into the United States of America through 501s like Party for Socialism and Liberation, Democratic Socialists of America, Minnesota Immigration Rights Action Committee. There he is, okay? Connecticut-born, 71 years old, billionaire tech guy. He is funneling money here to these radical organizations who are then agitating professional people, communists mostly, because Singham's a communist, all right, to go in and foster rebellion. You heard that story reported? That is absolutely true. The man has been investigated by the FBI in the past, this Singham character, okay? This isn't some organic thing. This is a foreign power, Beijing, using this American citizen who lives openly in Shanghai in luxury, knowing that this man is funneling tens of millions, probably more, into this country to try to destroy the government. What the deuce is that? Where are you, New York Times? All right? That's the second part of the story. There's a local federal story, and there's the international story. And I've had it. You don't like what I'm saying? Blank you.
Fuck you! I love it. Bill O'Reilly about to have a heart attack. He's dying. We know he's got health problems, but still showing up and doing yeoman's work about showing what's taking place and why and how all these people are being propagated, being paid. They are, as we say, Marshall, as I've been saying, these people, as President Trump is redirecting onuses, the burden, the responsibility, the duty where it falls to the state of Minnesota. But let's just say, put it in context, in reality and stuff, everything is falling apart because of everything that happens with Minnesota is all about the alleged theft and the steal, the criminality, and they're the ones that are allowing these people to continue on with this nonsense, and it's embarrassing. What I find it really, let's just put it this way, disgusting. Here we go. We'll just put President Trump's commentary up here in some way. He's defending Secretary Nim. Again, I don't really criticize the president or go against him, but I think the president is absolutely wrong. He comes here and says, yeah, she's fine. Yeah, she's fine. Everything's good.
I think she's doing a very good job.
Oh, she's doing a great job.
She's doing a very good job. The border is totally secure. You forget. We had a border.
Yeah, but she didn't do it. You did it.
Millions of people were coming through. Now we have
he's
a border
basically
where
ceding
no
her
one is coming
power and
through.
saying,
They
well,
come
she
into our
did
country
it.
only legally.
You
So
did
you have
it.
to remember those things. People forget as soon as you accomplish something.
I've said that the two people that were going to step down, we said it last year. Obviously, you can see, what's his name? He's returning in February, Bongino. And, Kristi Noem. Kristi Noem will resign at one time. She will not be fired. I mean, that's the bottom line. She's not going to be fired. President Trump doesn't want to do that because she's going to run for president. All right. And she would rather resign before she gets fired because it's not going to look good if you're fired and you want to run for president. So, in some way, do you want to vote for Kristi Noem? I'm not voting for Kristi Noem. I think I'm not saying she's a failure, but in this matter, You want to point fingers and blame. I don't like everything that's taking place. I'm embarrassed. Here comes Semaphore. Trump immigration enforcement under siege from Hill Republicans. Oh, you got Hot Wheels over there in Texas. You got Oklahoma governor Murkowski, Tom Tillis. These are all rhino cocks. Want Noam gone. All right. Look, I don't want Noam gone for these fucks. All right. But they're saying deem her out of death and concluding her failure of leadership. Look, I think she does have a problem. Okay. The question is, she needs to resign on her own and not be forced out. It's the president's decision, but I think there's got to be a level of accountability. Murkowski, Republicans panned this. What's more, Susan Collins, Maine, told Noam directly on Monday to pause operations in Maine and Minnesota. Why do we have to pause this stuff? Why? Because you don't want the stuff to be uncovered. All these Republican rhino cucks are going to go bye-bye. All right. And that they want and demand her resignation or firing shows you where it is. I want her to resign, not because of what they're saying, is because I don't like the implication of how they threw Bovino over the coals. All right. So, the growing internal blowback from a party that spent 2025 most of falling in line with Trump immigration policy marks a clear pivot in Washington as Republicans face grim polling numbers ahead of the midterms. No one cares. I'll be honest with you, Marshall. I think there's a lot of people and stuff. They don't care. They're not going to vote in the midterms. And there may be a lot of people that want to sabotage the election in some way and say, you know what, let the Democrats win. Let the Democrats win. We don't really care, and see what happens. What say you? Do you believe that to be true? Or
They do that all the time.
Yeah.
They do that all the time.
Well, they do it all the time through
And
the
then-
theft and the
Yeah,
steal.
Then you've got the way the Democrats they sign up as a Republican.
Right.
So these people, they never stop figuring out ways that they can try and cheat. And now with this getting ready, plus with the censor, I mean the damn collecting of all the names, I guess the censor. That's going to change the seats. It's going to change the amount. We're going to gain a bunch. So there you have it. I mean,
well, I'll put it this way because I'm going to go through this real quickly. Here's an argument. Anti-ICE protests have exploded across social media, turning forums once focused on hobbies and escapism into hubs of political outrage. Between the lines, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman's note to staff, first reported by the New York Times, shows how difficult it is to become an even Trump-aligned industry to sit out this moment. Altman praised Trump's very strong leadership. OpenAI will not allow or get blown around for changing fashions, but he is also unequivocally about Minneapolis. What's happening with ICE is going too far. See, the bottom line is, I want to show you that. The corporations, these are the people that pay these people to come in and be a part of this stuff. They have a lot of liberals working for them, scumbag pieces of shits that want to burn down our country. And so when ICE does anything in any type of, let's just say, facilitation or trajectory, what happens? People lose their mind. They lose their mind. And you know what it is? You hear the corporation say, bloody hell, we can't be a part of this in some way. Because the bottom line, the corporations are not aligned with the American spirit, with the American electorate. We, the American populace, don't like illegal alien criminal scum. And if you're working for these companies who want to continue in this stuff, we don't like you either. I think, and I find it completely wrong, Tucker Carlson is wrong. We are in a de facto state of civil war. And he's like, you don't want to be that way. We're in it. We're fighting for what? Blood and treasure in this country. You have a president who backed off for certain reasons because he didn't want this to spread. He wanted people to see the 2020 stolen election. Smart. Very smart. However, we cannot walk away simply because we think that certain things can just go, let's just say, covertly or unvertly, just like allowed to happen. Why is it certain people are allowed this? And I'll get to all this stuff. Here we go. Breaking. Democrats are furious with Tim Walz shows signs of caving. This is a good one, but I mean, look, I'm just showing this.
Tom Homan's a professional, which is a lot.
Oh, he's a professional.
And
professional what?
But look, I think the thing we said is we're very clear about this, that we need these folks out of Minnesota, and
not going to happen. Not going to happen. He says,
justice for.
There's no justice. Renee, no good. Will not get. She already got justice. She got 3 bullets in her head. That's justice. This other piece of shit, this everything bagel, Preddy, he got toasted. He got justice. These people got their justice. There's no reason to realign what justice is. Justice is at the end of the scenario. What are you going to do? What do you want to do? You want to relitigate this stuff? You want to go back to this and say, hey, let's have a conversation. They were in the wrong. They didn't do anything. Bullshit. Bullshit. They were in the wrong. Listen to Patrick Bet David on Jesse Waters. I want to show you this. He says Tim Walz may be looking for a pardon after he struck a deal with Trump. What say you? This is fantastic.
I said that a few days ago.
Yes, you did.
He's also trying to make sure he's protected long term. I don't know what happens on these calls. I would only say I don't know what he's going to ask for. You know, wink, wink. Hey, if I work with you on this, can I get a pardon? I don't know what the guy's going to be asking the president. You know, these guys have a lot of audacity. The previous guy that was the president said he wanted to depoliticize when it comes down to pardons. Then he goes and pardons his family, Fauci, everybody else. So I don't know what Walz is going to be asking for, but I will tell you, part of me likes the fact that somebody who was extremely on the opposing side and our president are talking to each other. I think this is very good for America. I think it helps going into midterms. It shows no matter how much smack everybody on the left talks, crime is down 20%, murder is down 20%, borders are clean, Republicans support Trump more than ever before, and the Democrats, Harry Enton, I feel bad for the guy. He was shown a poll just 2 days ago about how much Democrats don't support Democrats. Can you imagine how embarrassing?
Okay. Marshall, your thoughts? We're going to move on. I mean,
I said that's probably what he was trying to do. I don't think he's going to get off. I know we all want the fuckers to go to jail. I get that. And I want that. But hopefully, look, this is all playing out. And I guarantee you, Brett, we know, we've talked about it. It's all one step at a time, and it's being folded out deliberately.
All right, here we go. This is what Tom Homan said just the day before. And he goes, Tom Homan says he left Minnesota panicked because he said a database would be launched for leftist insurrectionists. They're all being rounded up. Let's listen to it.
Job and these people who want to say follow ICE, and film ICE, you know what? You can protest. They have that right. But when you cross that line, and we've proven it, if you interfere or impede or assault an ICE officer, you will be prosecuted. And one thing I'm pushing for right now, Laura, we're going to create a database where those people that are arrested for interference, impediment, assault, we're going to make them famous.
All right, so he's basically saying there's going to be a database, and I'll have commentary on that. And I want to hear your thoughts about this. Like, share, and subscribe. Drop us a gold bill. Questions, comments, or concerns. You want to help out Marshall? GoFi.com/SurfDog74. So if the database system, as Tom Homan speaks of, Palantir story is a real deal, that, let's put it this way, that they're creating or has created is a repository and a collection of facial recognition, data sharing from phones, call logs, location services that will identify, monitor, surveil, pursue, scout, locate, and shadow those insurgents. So we can pick them up at a later date in order to defuse the sit-rep as the president has put forth. Are you okay with that? And hence the stand-down order. Are we redirecting onuses, the burden, the responsibility, duty back onto the state, while the state police, the actual police in themselves do their work? But are you okay with this? What is your thoughts about this? Because this is very dystopian in some way, that a database that is being completely collected inside the DHS, as much as I want these people brought down, crushed to no end, we will all fall into this category nonetheless in the future in a dystopian manner. So what are your thoughts and how do you see this?
I would also add that Space Force and Elon Musk whatever, Starship or whatever, his whole operation with
Starlink.
Yeah. They're all, I guarantee they're probably all working together on a lot of this stuff. Now, the dystopian part is, how are you going to stop it?
Mhm.
How are you going to stop it?
I don't think you can. I think it's
So
already done.
all you can do is like when people said, man, we're never meant to fly. Right, Brett? Man, we're never meant to fly.
Right.
He would have been born with wings that was the old saying. And then Wright brothers came along and they invented this damn thing that damn flew across the damn. So it's, you can get good.
But see, this is the problem. We're creating databases for the criminally insane, all these people and I'm all for it in this manner because we can't have a civil war in this country. We're at the level. We're at some type of, I disagree with Tucker. We are at such a low point in this country. And so thus diffusing the situation I get and letting DOJ, FBI come in later on where these people are thinking, hey, nothing's going to happen to me. I'm going to work perfectly fine. They're fucked. But at the same token, DHS is creating a dystopian database working with Palantir to what? To document, to do things, facial recognition, data sharing. And it'll be so perfectly fine-tuned that if you are protesting legally and not violently, you might be picked up in this matter. See, this is the problem. How it's being used positively for the negative connotations that are surrounding the violence, while simultaneously in the future, it might be used to misappropriate the possibility of people doing positive protesting legally that could be also thrown under the bus. And I worry about not so dissimilarly.
That's where good and evil comes in, Brett.
Yeah.
You're either partaking of one or you're partaking of the other.
Well,
we got to win over everybody to be free, be on the right side, be
right. Well, that's my question. I'm trying to make sure that I equivocate on both sides of this. I understand why it's going to be utilized now, because look, you don't want a full hot kinetic civil war. I get it. You want to quiet this down, tamper this down, and so behind the scenes you can go after these people and quietly remove them without having a large insurgency get involved. You want to just pick them off one by one. But I'm worried about this clandestine operation of Palantir story, as Tom Oman says, is that how much is this going to be utilized and put forth onto real people wanting to protest in some way? Not this protest. I mean, is this going to be used in the same fashion? Is this not going to be a deflection? What are the terms? Deviation, diversion, divergence? I mean, the organized resistance is real. How do we reevaluate this at the moment? But I'll say this. You have yesterday, the First Lady come out and say about unity. And I say, I respect her. She's a very classy woman, and she came out talking about unity. And I said, what does unity look like, First Lady? I mean, it's not détente or reconciliation. It's not a truce. Not for now. I would argue in some way that there are many overarching predicates that a lot of people need to refocus on. But I'm disgusted with the idea that We put a lot of bluster out there, put a lot of fucking, a window dressing out there of mannequins in some way to call a spade. We should have been more forceful and should have been open about, transparent in such a way. Here we are, breaking footage has surfaced. This guy, the everything bagel who got toasted, all right, a week before his death, spitting on a federal agent and kicking out his taillight. Tell me again what we were supposed to do with this monkey.
This is a moment the news movement filmed on January 13th in Minneapolis, showing a man who appears to be Alex Preddy interacting with federal immigration agents 11 days before Border Patrol shot and killed him. Our footage was analyzed by the BBC, whose facial recognition technology confirmed his identity to a 97% degree of accuracy. On the morning of January 13th, our team received a tip that federal agents were blocking a street at the corner of East 36 and Park Avenue in Minneapolis. We arrived around 10:15 a.m. We saw observers shouting at the agents as they walked back to their vehicles. When they started driving away, the man kicked their taillight.
Let me ask you a question. Who does that? Do you go out there in the middle of the night or middle of the day? You got family, you got responsibilities, you got work to do. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to break the tail light. I'm going to kick an ICE officer or a police officer thing. I'm just going to go batshit crazy. Who does this? People, it's not just paid protesters. We are talking about mercenaries, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to be clear about how I feel about mercenaries. I think a lot of people don't know and don't understand that the Hessians, and that's what I call these people, were military-style people that were trained and operated with the German army, were bought and paid for by the British soldiers to attack and to take down through us to the Revolutionary Army. And that's why the Revolutionary War was much bigger and much more decisive and much more powerful overall. The overarching discussion here is this. These people are not just paid in any fashion. These people might have a nihilistic, violent, extremist attitude about their worldview. They may not believe in some way that the world should operate as they perceive it. In fact, it goes back to, the Batman, the original one, or the second one where he says, there are just many people that want to see the world burn. And I do believe, realistically, that is the truth. And these people, whether paid or not, enumerated, reconciled, their choice of actions of being, they're doing things outside the normal parameters of what we understand about what we can see who these people are. And I'm not going to continue more. I think you can understand, Marshall, who this guy was, what he is. He was taken down by the ICE agents very soon, and he had a bruised rib per se, and then understandably so. This is why it led to he was put on an ICE watch thereafter.
Well, the fact that he was the second one killed,
Mm-hmm.
And I can understand Trump wanting to kind of quiet it down. But the thing is that nobody's talking about, Brett,
Mm-hmm.
is that the ICE agents are still on the job. They're still doing.
Actually, those two ICE agents were suspended.
I don't mean them.
Yeah.
I mean the whole mission with the ICE agents in Minneapolis is still going on. But all this hubbub and all these protests and violence.
Well, DHS let them down. I think so. And I'm not going to walk away and retreat from that. I think she should resign. She let them down. They want to blame Stephen Miller. They want to blame the whole thing. We weren't there. Put Bovino on blast. Fuck you. Fuck you. You're an embarrassment. You're a joke. You basically want to hide behind walls and stuff. And, whether President Trump realizes it or not, I'm disgusted about how I feel about this. And I don't really care. I really don't care about how you look at this and how you see this, but I think Kristi Noem has a world of problems and a world of hurt coming her way, and she needs to resign. Look, these people are being compensated, remunerated, reimbursed. They're being salariated, recompensed. I think the professional soldier acumen, the idea that, the rulers that are in charge, whether in Minnesota or outside, are there to what? To substantially pay for these people as far as they want to do as paid mercenaries. They're not paid protesters. They're paid mercenaries. They're not the A-team. This is not a soldier or fortune moment, okay? All right? These people are being paid to what? To aggravate, to entice, to inflect, to fight, to attack, to bring down a lot of stuff. And again, I'll go back to the First Lady. I love Melania Trump. She's a very classy, respectful woman. The call for unity is wonderful. It's a fantastic idea. But concurrently, the administration has created a temporary pause, a void, in an A gap that allows a foothold of the embedded mercenaries who parade around as fake citizens to continue on this never-ending reign of intimidation, interference, and intrusion. And so while I understand why President Trump did what he did to silence this in some way, he also will manifest in a future pretext, in a future time, the upheaval and the actual vitriol that will flow through because of the fact is he put a pause on this and redirected everything to what? Now, whether the governor, the mayor follows through, it doesn't even matter anymore. Nothing matters anymore. I don't even really care anymore. I'm going to move on with this. I ain't not going to cover Tucker. I just think at this point, we have lost all perception of control because of what has taken place. And I think also because of the fact is DHS lacked proper scrutiny working with DOJ to make sure that there were people on the ground defending and protecting and backing these people up. Now, does this fall to POTUS? He should have decided, said, send in the fucking Marines, send in the insurrection. Yeah, probably should have. But is this also he leaving up and sizing this up for such a bigger scenario for a future pretense? Absolutely. He's basically saying it's going to get worse from now. It's going to get worse from now, and then we're going to have to save the worst for last, Marshall.
Yeah, I mean, that's, they wanted him to do the Insurrection Act.
Yeah. And the question is
what
why?
Waltz wanted.
Right.
Because it would cover all of his fraud.
Mm.
That's his biggest concern, is all his damn fraud.
Right.
And he's got to find a way out, Brett. These people are seriously fucked. Most people out there don't realize how bad it is for these people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
You think he made a deal? You think? Look, I'll be honest with you. If he made a deal with Waltz to get a pardon, President Trump does not deserve another term, and I don't believe that he did. I think that he gave him an out, but he doesn't not. He probably didn't get a pardon.
He ain't getting no free out, man.
No.
He's gonna
got
have
an
to
out,
pay
but it's not
something.
free.
And remember, he's like what 70 something. The Waltz, he's like in his 70s or something.
Mm-hmm. So domestic violent extremists, a significant threat in our own backyard. Department of Homeland Security identifies homegrown actors a national security threat. This comes from the Liberty Nation News. This was fantastic. Again, nihilistic, violent extremists are roaming our countryside. Domestic security is a national security. Homegrown terrorism becomes more of the concern. It's not hard to remember cartoonist Walt Kelly Pago explaining in the 70s, we have met the enemy, he is us. Recently released the Department of Homeland Security Assessment Threat of 2025. With that, we're seeing in Minneapolis, Portland, Los Angeles, the violent assaults on law enforcement and destruction of property bear witness to the validity of this threat assessment, violence against Americans, by Americans. DVEs were basically domestic violent entropies. They were a topic of the early Liberation News, highlighted dangerous behavior, groups like Antifa, anarchist, domestic terrorist organization. To that end, President Trump designated the domestic troublemakers as a domestic terrorist organization. Lone offenders and small groups continue to pose the greatest threat of carrying out attacks with little to no warning. Looking into 25, the threat of violence from U.S.-based violent extremists, including DVEs, who are motivated by various ideologies, and FTO-inspired homegrown violent extremist HVEs will remain high. Let's continue on. The assessment goes to explain DVEs, domestic violent enemies, have focused their effort a variety of targets to include ethnic and religious minorities, government officials, and ideological opponents. Rioting in Minneapolis, Minnesota has become the poster child for such extremism. The street thugs and violent agitators who have attempted to impede immigration and customs enforcement agency officials from carrying out their law enforcement duties as they are lawfully in Minneapolis and other cities harboring criminal aliens could be classified as DVE activities. What we've seen, and by admissions of the perpetrators, the violent protesters are there to disrupt ICE and lawful execution. The attempts at disrupting ICE agents' performance of their duties have quickly morphed into violence. Yeah, because they got to spend time protecting one another and themselves because they have no backing from the state or local officials because they have been told to stand down. A new category of security threat. This is important. There is an emerging subset of DVEs. The FBI identifies nihilistic, violent extremists. These are the people that want to see the world burn just for the sake of burning. Newsweek reported the NVE has recently coined the term used to what? Describe actors who commit violence without allegiance to any political ideology. That may be true. All right, we have to find out if they're being paid as well, but most likely this is a subset of a bigger group. Instead, they are characterized by a generalized hostility toward societal institutions and a desire to inflict harm and chaos. I believe that the idea of the Joker premise that came out in The Dark Knight really has now qualified and expanded into something more of not just a movie type, but more of a realization of an entity of a group, and saying is that the only way you're able to wield power is through that enforcement in some way. They'd rather say collectively, we take on both elements of society that are positive and negative, and we wield control of it, and we burn it down to the ground. That's how we inflect or reflect or let's just say reappropriate our forces in some manner. Think about that. They want to take on the positive and negative effects of our culture, all right? And then what they want to do is they want to wield them from to both ends, destroy that, and then take over as a power vacuum. September of last year, again, Newsweek, FBI Director Kash Patel told the committee, a large chunk of a nihilistic violent extremism, those who engage in violent acts motivated by a deep hatred of society because they don't like the Constitution, they don't like society, they don't like the people in it. A KTSP report drew a correlation between the tragic shooting incident in Minneapolis Annunciation Catholic Church, where 2 children were killed and 17 were injured by a lone gunman. Seamus Hughes, the National Counterterrorism Invasion Technology and Education Center, told by KSTP, we'll see how the FBI investigation bears out. From the outside perspective, the Annunciation shooting has many markings of those nihilistic violent extremists. They don't want anything. They don't need anything. What they want is they want to bring our civilization to the ground. They want to make sure they destroy both embers of those who want something and desire something. So on one end, we desire to bring these people down. On the other end, they desire to bring us down in some way. The nihilists, violent extremists, what they want is they want to bring both factions who sit on opposite sides of the purview Okay, let's just take ICE, for example. We support ICE, those that don't. They want to be in the middle of it to bring both these things down by what? By making sure they find a way to escalate, replicate, and destroy every opportunity of doing so, Marshall. It's very sad, and it's very... I think this is a very deep, dark that we're dealing with right now. And we're actually moving into a Joker territory scenario where there are people who just don't care. They don't have two fucks to give. They don't have fuck you and die. Their attitude is burn it all down. I'd rather see our culture, our society, and, you know, Tucker is saying is that how many people want to see a civil war? Well, these people want to see a civil war because what's in between the civil war, they want this country to burn.
Well, I could say that they're probably not going to get that.
You sure
not
about
enough
that?
of them.
You sure about that?
No.
Are you totally sure about that? You think that we're not going to get that in some way? You're not going to get those factions to utilize their talking points and argument to do things that maybe the left don't want to go as far as they said, but we don't know how far the left wants to go.
I don't know how many. I don't think they have, excuse me, the kind of numbers that they just don't have the numbers.
Right.
I mean, you know, they could be out there with the protests, but when you add it all, you look at the media. The media shows you a certain number. We zoom in and make it sound like it's a large, make it look like it's a large protest. The reality, there's not enough of these people, Brad. I mean,
there may be not. There may be not. I think you're more correct. I mean, there may not be.
They're crazy, and I think I'm standing by my whole this theory. It's not just mine. Other people. The vaccine has made, since the rollout of these crazy COVID vaccines, these people have been addicted to them. I mean, there's probably people out there that have 7 or 8.
Well, I've been saying that it's not 6%; it's 20% of our culture, country that has been destroyed, and there are people of 20% of our culture are going to disappear very soon. And I think whether it's part of the vaccine or because of the mental disease, or they're going to off themselves, or they're going to put themselves in the line of fire, who cares? I mean, I'm more focused on what we're doing. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, Super D gift of the can. I get you.
Go crazy. Get
I
out.
thought President Trump and Putin were talking at peace board, and the UK were left out of the conversation. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think Marshall's right. What do you think Marshall's right about, Aaliyah? Let's get to the disgusting DHS releases threatening voicemails sent to ICE agents. Have you heard this or seen this? I guarantee you haven't. Listen to this shit. And you wonder why I am like, fucking burn these people to the ground. Seriously. And we retreated. We walked back. Yeah, we shouldn't have done this, but we did. Listen to this stuff.
You're a fucking fascist pig. You should fucking kill yourself. I hope your wife dies. I hope your mom and dad die. I hope everything wrong that could go in your life happens. I hope you have the most miserable life. I hope you get hit by a bus. I hope you're paralyzed and your wife leaves you and starts getting fucked by BBCs every day. You are a traitor to the American people, to the values that made our very country. You should kill yourself. You're fucking disgusting. I hate you. Everyone hates you. You're a fucking murderer, and all of your friends are fucking murderers, and your bosses are a bunch of pedophiles. Kill yourself.
So my attitude, disarm, diffuse, pacify, mollify, deflect. This is what you get. You know, Bovino steps down. He's the scapegoat. We should put a pause on this stuff. No, we should not. These people should be hung. Hung from a fucking tree. They should be shot. Live fire rounds should be put into their chest. They are not going to give up. They're not going to surrender. We want and we need what? Full justice. The Justice Department's coming and arresting these people. I want to see the transcripts of all these things. Revisit, return, redress, re-examine. All great. Tucker's like, well, we don't want a civil war. Then what the fuck are we in? You're saying it's a small in transit group of insurgents. Yeah, always there in Portland, now in Eugene, and many other different certain sectors of the country. You're saying it's small, it's not big. Well, it's enough to shut this whole operation down. You know what? I beg to differ with how the perception is. I struggle with how people look at these things in some way because, Marshall, many people, because I believe they don't, what Liberty Nation News put out, they don't really reflect upon the group of people, not the ones that are paid insurgents, that are there to be remunerated, that are there to be salaried based, that are there to be in some way called to arms from recompense. I'm talking about those who have a systematic scenario of just burning it all down because they want to. They're pyromaniacs. They're Michael Myers. They want all hell and chaos to come loose because they don't care. I'm worried about those people. And I don't know how contingently and how big they are. The FBI is worried about them too. They're not worried about the paid protesters. We can go out and get them. We could shut down the money and all the groups. Well, if you did, you already had to shut down, but you're not doing it. So boo-hoo and fuck you, because I don't buy you. But my attitude that Melania comes out, great woman, respect her, the call for unity. Yeah, I don't have unity. I'm sorry. I'm not calling for unity. It's a wonderful idea. It's fantastical. But I don't want unity. I want these people put down. We were put in jail. We were destroyed, debanked, deplatformed. We were just leveled. And these people get a pass? When is it time that we see it? Yes, DOJ is rolling in, arresting people. I want it more. I want it so much more that I can't eat my Cap'n Crunch, that it's spilling out of my mouth. I'm pouring the milk in it. I'm done. I want it so much and so bad and unblessed. I know we're focused on 2020, which is the most important thing, which really is. Everything else is just secondary, tertiary nonsense. And I get it. And now that we're raiding Georgia, we're going after the ballots, maybe we'll get some substance of how this is going to unfold, because realistically, we never walked away from 2020. But do you believe in some way the idea of a temporary pause, a void that allows a foothold of the embedded mercenaries to continue on was done on purpose, or was it genuflect to what we're seeing now?
Well, I want to say something about what you mentioned about Melania.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Well, speak.
She said
Speak,
unity.
God damn it.
She said we want unity, and you're like giving the expected result with response, which would be mine as well.
Whose unity are you asking for? Whose unity?
I want to say this.
Yeah.
I think Melania is a hell of a lot smarter and a hell of a lot more involved in all this.
Yeah, I think so too.
And including Barron. Barron, I read about it today. I think I saved it for. I've got it saved for later.
Okay.
But Barron is heavily involved with Trump's day-to-day activities as well.
You think so? You think he's you think that his portal jumping through everything has helped guide President Trump through these I don't know
about portals. I know that
I'm being facetious. I mean, let's just play along. So the portal jumping that he is doing from the Ingersoll Lockwood books, that he's going down these rabbit holes and coming out, is he actually installing himself on making so on how these things should be carried out. Is that what you're implying? I'm being facetious.
No, actually, it could
let's
be
play,
true.
let's
Man.
play along.
We don't know if it's not true, Brett. That's the
Yeah.
problem with all this. We don't know.
No, we don't know anything.
We don't know
That
anything.
is the problem. We don't.
The only thing I knew growing up, Brett, and I've always thought this my whole
The
life.
water was wet. The sky was blue.
And we're rats.
And the
in a
sun was
little
shining
maze.
all the time.
I have always believed we are nothing but rats in a little maze, and somebody's fucking watching us run around.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I grew up with is that women were women, girls were girls, boys were boys.
Yeah,
and there was a sexual attraction. There
in
was
the
no
family.
fucking gay and trans shit. Wasn't all that stuff.
Archie
Disgusting.
Bunker.
Hate those people. Fuck them and die. Fuck the Baal worship. Go watch your Super Bowl. That's all Baal worship. Go watch it. Go watch the transgender stuff. I'm not going to be watching it. I'll be fucking riding my bike, shooting off fireworks. All right. I'll be fucking totally happy when all this stuff goes bye-bye. You know, look, if only on the left, paid mercenaries would agree to the same thing as Melania, the first lady, has, let's just say, suggested and offered. You know, surrender is not an option for us or for them. So for her to suggest that we all need to come together and all this stuff, which is, you know, wonderful. I'm all, but the other side, or let's just say the other sides, because there's a middle side and then there's the other side. There's the people that just want to see the world burn without being paid. And then those who are being paid mercenaries to want to agitate and continue on with the inculcation of destroying and breaking down our culture and stuff, and making sure that ICE doesn't do their job. That's another separate entity from there. But I will say this, only if they respect Melania's words that we can move forward in this, and I guarantee you they don't. So breaking, DHS tells me the federal agents involved in Eric's presently shooting have been placed on administrative leave. Okay. So the guys that, you know, shot this dog like he was, like I said, they toasted and everything bagel. He got what he got. He was on a watch, got what he got. I don't fucking care. I'm not going to shed a tear about it. He got what he got. Don't put yourself in these situations you're going to get shot and killed over. It's not necessary. If your life is more meaningful than some Somalian third world scum, let me ask you a question. Does anybody believe if we are able to, let's just say, try to approach his mental capacity, do you really believe it was all about that or something else? Because I don't believe that he actually really cared about any of these things, about illegal immigration. It was just what? Attack ICE at all possibilities because they're Nazis, and that's what he was convinced of, Marshall.
Yeah, he's just got it brainwashed and probably they tap into their computers, they go into their social media, and they put feeds into them. It's not hard, especially when they know the doctors that they go to. Has anybody looked at the doctors? Did he have any psychiatric doctors? I bet he had.
Well, we don't know this because more of the information is rolling out, but you moved Bovino on, you stepped away, you did all these things in some way because the perception management that I told you is already out. The public opinion management, the image management, the control. Don Lemon's not going to be indicted. Nothing's going to happen to him at the moment. Has taken a foothold, and that's the problem. That's the problem in general. Super D, thank you for the cookie. Here we go. DOJ named alleged anti-ICE rioters arrested. So basically, they're arresting a bunch of people, about 18. Here we go. Here's 11 names, 18 U.S. Code, assaulting, resisting, impeding. They're going to go through the process of arresting more people. And they should have been there in the first place. And yes, I understand that the Palantir operation is afoot, that the actual of identifying, tracking, tracing, scoping, scouting, it's all fine. I get it. I understand. And you want to wait until after the fact. That's good. And that's why you want to put the embers. You want to control this. You want to put the embers out. You don't want to make sure that it's bigger than what it is. But I have to say right now, what I'm disgusted with is that DHS secretary left these people to hang out and dry. She burned these people. The FBI didn't want to get involved. The police didn't. And so President Trump, I think, redefining Bovino, I think, was a disrespect. I understand he's the boss. I understand. I love President Trump. But you have to understand, him falling on a sword in this manner, all right, to save face, to protect DHS and maybe other elements and other groups in some way, is a very positive thing. He should be rewarded and honored for what he's done in his sacrifice, for the abuse that these people go through. I find it very unfortunate in some way that this whole thing has inflowed. And that's why I'm so angry about this. I'm not angry about Trump. He's got some good redress of a re-examination of commentary that's okay. But, you know, look, this illegal alien scum should not be allowed to exist in any capacity, ladies and gentlemen, as or like an American citizenry does. Squeeze them out so that the very essence of being here is so difficult that they must leave or be forced to leave. Yes, I stand by that notion. We should make it so difficult that these fucking people cannot live, cannot breathe, cannot shit, cannot shower, cannot eat. They can't do anything but scurry around like cockroaches that we can stomp on before we deport their ass out of here. Marshall, your thoughts? Am I too harsh on this?
Well, I could just say that, you know, you got two people that got killed up there. And so when the second one came, that was when...
Are you saying that you give a fuck about these two people? You're saying
No,
that...
I don't. No, I don't.
Okay.
It's the opposite.
Do they affect your life in some way?
No,
Do they make
don't.
your life better or worse that they were
They
killed?
make it better now that they're gone.
Okay. How do they make your life better?
Well, Brett, it's obvious, man. These people are leftists, they're communists, they're
Right.
people are Bolsheviks.
No, I'm doing it for the audience.
We
not
need
for
less of these. Yeah. The whole thing is when you had the second guy go down, Brett,
Mm-hmm.
he had to make I can understand the PR part of it.
Mm-hmm.
You want to move away from it. Look, there's still the point I made earlier, and the point I made earlier, or I tried to make, is that now the ICE arrests are still continuing.
Mm-hmm.
None of it stopped. The whole operation is still going. We got Waltz to agree.
Mm-hmm.
Now Fry is another problem, but Waltz, he's in. He's in. So, and the ICE operations are still going. And
Yeah.
there's not a lot of violence going on anymore.
Mainstream media is pathetic, making these right. I got to read some of these things. Melania playing the part of Esther, Queen saves the king. That's a good point.
Yeah,
Wait for Purim, March 3rd, 3-3. Yeah, I get what you're saying and stuff. I wasn't attacking her, but you make a good argument, Alita. Mainstream media is pathetic, making these rioter creeps be saints. Yeah, super deep. Thank you for the cookie. So I'm supposed to be like Elon. Some people done something. I think not. Yeah, I mean, we'll get to Elon's jizz, apple cider jizz. I think some more wine. It's a good night before the snow hits again. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm just trying to read your commentary. Sounding a fag pedo himself. Okay, so here we are right now. So this comes out from the Debister. Demonstrations and rallies. Minnesota law prohibits carrying firearm at public demonstrations, rallies, or similar events that includes both open and concealed carry. And during his attack onto that SUV, all right, he was carrying a weapon at that time. So he was put on a watch for a reason, that he was a violent antagonist, and it's something had to be done about it. And so my argument was that's why he got popped, because they knew he was carrying a gun in some way that it was going to be utilized against them. However this falls out or falls through and stuff, I'm not shedding a tear about it. I don't really care. I have a big problem with Department of Homeland Security, and I think Noam should resign. I really do. I think she's a joke at this point, and I think she's an embarrassment. I don't like the way she left ICE to hang out there in some way, and Bovino to be, let's just say, swung from the trees. She's a disgrace, and so be it. Corey Lewandowski fucking too. He's fucking her. That's why he's there. He's fucking her. She's in a relationship. I don't know if she's going through the divorce. I mean, that's the reason why he's there. It's just a joke. President Trump is exactly saying what Q said almost 7 years ago. The American taxpayer subsidizing meds for the rest of the entire world. I put this up there. I don't really cover this, but I thought this was big. Subsidized. Listen to this.
Talk about it. Think of it. I got the biggest price reduction in history on drugs, pharmaceuticals.
It's too glaring.
I can't get these guys to talk about it. It was page like 22 in the New York Times, a little story. I just got the biggest. I can't believe it. If a Democrat got a half a point down, this is like hundreds of, depending on the way you want to calculate it. You could say it's an 80% reduction, or you could say it's 1,000% reduction. You could say whatever you want, but it's the biggest reduction in history by many, many times. I did something because we were subsidizing the entire world. We were paying 10 times, in many cases, more money than the rest of the world.
That's basically a very good foreshadow of how some of that stuff has been, let's just say, pushed through. I got more to go. You sent me the Peter Schweizer stuff. I want to get into this. I want to cover this because I think this is another good illumination of where we're going and stuff on so many different levels. Listen, Peter Schweizer, his new book is insane. Revealed 50 Mexican consulates. You sent it to me. I'm not going to cover it. Are the invisible? They need to be shut down. They're actually utilizing and appropriating the agitprop to continue on with this.
Only 5 consulates in America.
Good stuff.
Great Britain, only 8. Mexico, more than 50. They're not just issuing passports.
Nope.
The Mexican government has built a sophisticated political machine inside our country that pushes migrants to resist assimilation, lobbies our politicians to put Mexico's agenda first, floods 1 million Spanish-language Marxist-inspired textbooks into our children's classrooms, stokes anti-American hatred and social chaos. It isn't random. It's an invisible coup. Now, for the first time ever, the best-selling investigative journalist of our time, Peter Schweizer, blows the lid off Mexico's election machine inside America. The Invisible Coup, How American Elites and Foreign Powers Use Immigration as a Weapon. Available everywhere fine books are sold.
Yep. Very good. Very good. Probably get the book. I might even buy the book. But the reality is and stuff, it is a weapon. It's a weapon against us to depopulate the white race, the replacement race in so many different ways. And I think, unfortunately, how I see these things is that no matter what you think about these people, all right, these people are there to replace you. They are garbage. They are scum. They will kill your entire family, run you over, murder you, shoot you, rape your daughters, and thing. They will make sure that they have every opportunity to take your place as the next fake American citizen. So when you look at an illegal alien or all these other people and stuff like that, you should look at them with abject disgust, with spit in your mouth in their face. They are garbage. They're human waste. That's the way I see these people. That's the way they'll be treated, and they don't deserve any empathy or sympathy or any quarter that we should subsidize for, because all they're here is to replace you and I, and you know what that means, ladies and gentlemen.
We're going to have to keep an eye on this too. 50 consulate. You think about that. That's a consulate for Mexico in every state.
Yep. Almost
most
every
countries only have consulate, like in the
they got like 5 in Texas.
Didn't go over very well.
There you go. You want proof of this? Listen to this guy. This guy says it all. In fact, this basically solves the whole scenario about why they want illegal aliens in this country. Dems' dirty secret on illegals just got blown wide open by Brandon Gill.
The American people didn't want to see the federal government shut down so that Democrats could try to force their tax dollars to go to pay for health care for illegal aliens. But this is even more egregious here. And I think that this is somewhat expected. You know, stopping immigration enforcement, I think, for Democrats is a politically existential issue. I mean, they want as many illegal aliens in the country as possible. They impact
shut it down.
Enforcement.
Let it all go down.
To allow them to vote. So Democrats will go to any length to ensure that they can try to stop the president from enforcing the law. I hope we don't shut the government down. I hope Democrats come to their senses, but I wouldn't put anything past them.
I don't really care. Does it affect your life in some way if the government is shut down? Marshall, does it affect you?
No.
Do you really care? These people don't do anything anyway. Does it affect your life? Let me know in the chat. Would USA dropping 817 gold pills? Thank you. Need more gold pill love? Support the boys stream? Well, I appreciate it. Like, share, and subscribe. Let's hear your comments, questions, and concerns. If you want to help out Marshall, ko-fi.com/surfdog74. Marshall, do you really give a flying fuck if these people want to self-sabotage themselves, our country, anything? They're already doing it all the time. So why not just remove themselves from this, this circle jerk of nonsense where nothing is getting done? Who really gives a flying fuck if they shut down the Congress?
It doesn't matter. And I think they almost know that their days are done. I mean, they're heading toward the end. I don't know that we're going to even have an election this fall, as we've
Well,
talked.
again, the idea of having an election will be based upon if there's an actual stable Congress in place, because under the Constitution, President Trump, unless these people are rounded up and arrested, or they, what if half these people are just rounded up and arrested, and then whatever's left over, let's just say even the speaker, they would have to vote and say, we can't have an election. We have to cancel this. We have to move this off, because it would only fall into what? The speaker and the majority of the speakership that is still left over to curtail this, to shut this down. It has nothing to do with the president. You might even have to bring in the Supreme Court in some manner to address this. But from all legal and viable standpoints, it's really about the House. Because if the House is just neutered with all these people resigning and dipping out and arrested, and there's only a skeleton crew left over, would they be forced to? Would they even have the choice? Would those people have to make those decisions based upon this? Because there's no viable option. How do we see ourselves out of it? It is a very interesting tell. I mean, think about it. How many people are inside the House that are illegal, that are criminal, that are illegitimately put in there, that because of stolen elections that have been seized, that have been put forth of the 2020 election that was part of this? I mean, you have to put it in many different contexts, in many different pretexts. How expansive would it be that if we were to shut down this through the actual skeleton crew of the House that would be able to put this forward? I mean, you think that Speaker Johnson, if he survives all this stuff and is not involved in any of this stuff of a coup d'etat and anything else, and there's a skeleton crew, because we know who those people were in some way, that partition would be able to make sure that we postpone this at a later date or resolve it?
Brett, at this point, you can clearly see even the lowest of the normies can see that our government is completely broken. It's completely broken, Brett.
Yeah, it's useless.
I mean, it's really bad, man.
The black pillars don't even want to vote. I mean, the middle of the road, they don't fucking care.
People have to swim to the top of the water and get their head up and grab some air and breathe to themselves and say, you know what? Our government is completely fucked over, man. We need to rebuild this back to what we used to have. Everything they took away from us. Look at all the things they stole from us. We used to have a beautiful society.
Yep.
New York City was beautiful. Black and white people were wearing suits and hats and walking down the street. And now we got what? A bunch of fucking animals.
Yep.
It's sad.
It's sad. Our culture's, that's the problem and stuff. What is it going to take to retool this thing, to shut it down and fix everything? I mean, seriously, need arrest in Georgia, pivotal? Yeah, what's up? Don't care, shut it all down. I agree with you. Shut it all down. Lots of Dems, yes. I want to see Kemp and Roethlisberger. Yeah, they both got to go down, pivotal. I agree. We were saying that earlier Thank you, Wood USA. Super D made it a contribution. Thank you again for the can. The cookie. 2030 census projection dooms Democrat Party. Remember 2030? 2030, ladies and gentlemen, agenda. Now it's what? Agenda 2030. It's turned on them. A census analysis released Tuesday projects that the New York and California alone could lose a combined 6 House seats, while red state rivals Texas and Florida stand to gain 8. The estimates are based on 2025 population. The forecast, my God, they're about to lose their shit. I'm running out of time. Actually, I'm out of time, but I got a couple more things I want to cover, Marshall. The 2030 agenda is over. You and I know that it's over in some way. So many different things that are bubbling up. What do I got to go? All right. I guess I got to cover Ilhan Omar. So she had a faked, she faked, wait, hold on a second. Let's see if I can play it. She faked her own staged attack like Butler with some fucking guy's wife. Look, the guy's wife works for Ilhan Omar. Ex-wife works for Ilhan Omar and AOC. So Ilhan was sprayed with unknown substance. It wasn't holy water. It was fucking what? It was apple cider vinegar. It did nothing. You could see it. Deeply disturbed by the attack. There are a lot of people calling her out. They know this is fake. Ilhan Omar gets sprayed. I don't even want to play it. I fucking hate this fucking Muslim cunt. Listen, this bitch, okay, how the fuck does she have entrails to what? A liquor company. She has for a wine company. She has a controlling operation of wine company that they pulled away from. How does a Muslim drink alcohol? They don't. The whole thing is a sham. She's a farce. It's embarrassing. The whole thing makes me sick. What is this? This is the one thing.
There's not even a winery, Brett.
Yeah.
It's like the Leering Center.
Omar with
it's
a little bit
just like the Leering Center.
And I mean, that bitch just took off like she just got. Well, apparently a priest has sprinkled Representative Ilhan Omar with a little bit of holy water.
Dirtbag
and I mean,
pig.
that bitch just took off like she just got caught in a daycare scam.
I love
Well,
it.
apparently.
I love it. I love it.
God.
I think in some way we need to be, let's just say, realistic about how we see these things. And I'll play one more. What was the thing I wanted to discuss? So much more. Let me see if I can play this. President Trump
didn't have a winery. It was just a fake thing, just like the Leering Center.
Right.
It was just a doorway.
Wasn't, yeah, but the thing is, she was attached to it. I'm like, how is it even possible she's attached to? And they got rid of it all.
Yeah.
President Trump dropped the fire on immigration and loyalty. This is great.
Come into our country, except for those that come in legally. We want to have people come in legally. We need people to come in legally, but they have to show that they can love our country, not hate our country.
That's the key.
They have to show that they're not going to blow up our shopping centers, blow up our farms, kill people. They're coming in legally, but they cannot come in unless they come in legally into our country, and we're letting some great people come in. They have to show that they can love our country. They have to be proud. Not like Ilhan Omar. Did you see what?
Disgusting. That's the bottom line. I dropped the pills. I'm going to play this, and I'll be right back. Here's Benny Johnson saying something really interesting. Listen to this. If this will play.
That he thinks that Ilhan Omar getting sprayed last night was fake. He says, I wouldn't doubt it. She's a fraud. I wouldn't doubt it if she went ahead and if she sprayed herself, he said. What's your take on this? I'm sure you've seen some on the internet this morning.
Oh, well, this person sat on the front seat on the front row, right in front of Omar, and then took off running to the right. You're going to have somebody that's going to go after somebody. They're not going to run away from them. And that you could tell that was pretty much all staged. Now, again, I'm just saying that because you look at you look at what the Democrats have done and how they act and the things that they say that they're supposedly for our country. And then, of course, she is under big time investigation. She's trying to get the heat off of her. At the end of the day, this is the Democrats, playing games. And Ilhan Omar needs to be in jail. And as you said,
wow. Wow. Thank you, Thea, for the cookie. I released the gold pills. Marshall, your thoughts on that? Even House representatives and senators are calling out for a fake, a whole fake attack and stuff. It's almost embarrassing that they can't really, they just keep, stepping on their own dicks about all this stuff. And in her case, they can't even handle how this stuff is being presented in some way. But really what's bothersome and stuff is that, people are not giving up. They're pushing back even harder and further. And I think that's a good thing. That's a good sign that people are just like, we're done. We had enough. We're over this stuff. And I think in some way it's over. It's over. And, we're taking it to another level.
We got to do something about being able to. We've got to do something about people that come here from other countries and try to run for mayor or other local offices like city council.
Mm-hmm.
That shit's got to be stopped. You should be an American citizen, born and bred, to be able to run for public office of any kind.
Yeah.
Because
I know it's not in the Constitution, but we need to change it.
They found a loophole, Brett.
I know.
They found a sweet spot. They found a weak spot, and they're like, "Oh, we can move there, and we can still run for mayor." That's not a good look at New York, Brett. We got a serious problem here, and we better deal with this whole fucking thing.
Yeah. Thank you, Thea, for the cookie. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the red pill. Let's hear your comments, questions, concerns. You want to help out marshallko-fi.com/surfdog74. Conservatives mobilized to overturn Obergefell. This is a really big thing. I think it got overshadowed, overlooked. Daily Signal put it out a couple of days ago. First on Daily Signal, a coalition of 47 conservative organizations is launching a campaign to challenge Supreme Court's 2015 ruling in Obergefell versus Hodges, which groups claim redefined marriage to emphasize the desires of adults over the needs of children. Wow. The Greater Than campaign focuses on one message, which a handful of conservative leaders are state clearly a launch. Children are greater than equal, and it's time we fought for their rights. The message responds to LGBTQ plus activist narrative that redefining marriage as between two people rather than between a man and a woman involves equality. Since the redefinition of marriage a decade ago, we've seen the consequences. Parenthood treated as replaceable. Children deprived of the unique love. This is something that's in my wheelhouse that I fucking hate gays. I hate all these people. These people, the ball, all this stuff, they need to be thrown in a pit of fire. Fuck these people. Fuck these people. They are the most decadent, disgusting humans. They don't deserve quarter or a place. They've destroyed our culture, destroyed our children. They need to burn. Yes, push them off a building. Send them fucking to the Middle East. I don't fucking care. Enough with these people. They have pushed their what? Their varietal instincts onto us and to our children. They have destroyed and just let's put it this way, destroyed our society, imploded our society, the degradation of our society. The virtual signaling of this nonsense has basically catapulted us to this level where, like, hey, give me a roof. I'll find a way to make sure you fall off of it. That's the bottom line. And children deprived of unique love and guidance only a mother and a father can provide. Katie Faust, founder president of Them Before Us and spokesman for the campaign, said in a statement, 10 years ago, Obergefell has shown us loud and clear that children deserve better. You bet your ass they do. That's why the Gen Zs, the Alpha and the Beta are fucked up, because of the fucking gays and the trans. These people are scum. They deserve no quarter. These are Satan's demons. And they deserve nothing but what? Our loathing, our spit. And 1 foot in the ass gets them off a building, so be it. Because, look, if we don't do it, we have to wait for God to do it. My attitude about how I feel these people are no different about the problem we're dealing with right now. We are in a de facto state of civil war on many levels. Tucker Carlson is wrong, and I believe many other people are wrong. We've been fighting a war on so many different levels with Baal, his Satan dominions, and all these things. People who just basically are nihilists, people who are being paid to communists, the brown shirts. We are fighting so many wars at so many levels. It's not just one group. It's not one thing. And whether they're Americans or not, I would say in some way, we had a civil war. We had a revolutionary war. And I believe Tucker Carlson is absolutely wrong. Do you want to fight another civil war? We're already in it, motherfucker. We're already in it. You just don't want to recognize what you're seeing. You don't want to recognize that American citizens have sold out this country, brown shirts that are being paid provocateurs that are so brain fucked, brain warped in every way, just because they've been on some type of jab. They've been fucking what? Rammed in the ass. They've been sexually abused. These people have been so warped in every way. You can't recognize we're in it. We're dealing with Hessians, paid mercenaries, people that are become, let's just put it this way, outside the purview of a spiritual nature, that they have lost all conception of reality. That is what we're dealing with. And so I say, and again, I will argue, do you want a civil war? No, we're already in it, motherfucker. We're already in it. It's not that I don't want it. We need to engage it. We need to bring it down, and we need to fucking win. 10 years ago, Obergefell has shown us loud and clear the children deserve better, and they are greater than the adult desires, and it's time we change, she added. Alongside them, before us, and for other core allies, the American Family Association, the Colson Center for Biblical Worldview, Family Research Council, and Focus on Family. God, God, God. Read your Bible. Get in tune with God. Make sure you are there spiritually to make sure you're able to systematically combat these people and not be fooled by the what? The irrelevance of people saying, well, we don't want a civil war. We are already in it on multiple levels. We are already in it, and we're facing it, we're fighting it, we're bringing it down, and we're winning. Don't fucking stop to say, oh, well, let me look at the stop sign and say, are we in a civil war? It's not whether we want to be in it or not. We are already in it. The decadence that has destroyed our culture between brown shirts, communists, let's just systematically perverts, pedophiles, monsters that are running our countryside systematically has taken over us for decades. It's not that, do you want to be in it? Do we need to be in it? No, we're in it, and we have to win it at all costs. And at that cost comes lives. The question is, are you willing to put down just what has taken place? President Trump has ratcheted down the theater of what is happening because he thinks there's a more prevalent argument to be discussed, which is 2020 and Minnesota stolen theft. Because, and I'll leave you with this, and I think this is something I didn't say. The billions of fraud is peanuts compared to the amount of fraud that was used to hijack, steal, pilfer, thieve the elections for more than a decade or decades. And this is Minnesota, which, by the way, would expose their illegitimacy, their spuriousness, and completely spiral the state into an abject failure and chaos. Think about that. Hopefully propelling and thrusting us into a more conspicuous oversight into the midterms, or perhaps doing the unthinkable, what we talked about tonight, Marshall. As we dip out, Marshall, what is your last parting thoughts? Because I've spoken enough and I'm done. I'm losing my voice.
Well, it's all coming together. It's all planned. Everybody needs to realize that. Everything that happens while we watch it, this thing down in Georgia, that didn't happen at this particular time for no reason. All of this is set up on a time frame. It's being rolled out to all of us. Now, we already know, Brett, and our team that watches it, we are the Rise Brigade. We all know that. We already know but we're trying, the whole rollout is like a movie, quote unquote, for lack of a better term, to let everybody out there, all the normies, be informed. And I think that's what we're going through right now. It's just simple. It's not complicated. It's over. It's already over.
I know. I think that
we already won this
for
field.
people saying, well, you shouldn't want a civil war. You shouldn't want.
We
No one's
already
asking.
won.
We're already in it. I just hate.
We already won it, Brett.
Well, I know we won it, but the point is that we're living through it simultaneously, that we're going to end up winning it. Thank you, Super D, for the cookie. Thank you, Thea, for the cookie. I get what you're saying. What I'm saying is that ultimately we're going through the process, even though it's already been done, but everybody is seeing what needs to be accomplished. It's not just one group of people of nihilists, not one group of people of mercenaries that are paid, of brown shirts that are outside like the Hessians during the Revolutionary War. It's not this or not just that. It's a whole group of people, a whole host of people that have now completely supplanted our country with this dereliction of duty and destroyed us from within. And now we're fighting back and we're trying to take it back. And anybody that gets in our way, Marshall, I would argue that we need to dispatch with them and dispose of them.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much set. We're on our trajectory now, and I don't think I really just think it's all just.
Once 2020 is exposed, it's game over. You know that, right? Once 2020 is exposed, it's game over.
That's it.
Once it's proven that Georgia purposely withheld all this stuff, they signed off on this stuff, that he won 2020. Well, then what happens thereafter? How does the Supreme Court handle this? This is really going to be a tipping point. Everything else that we're seeing right now will be put in the blind side, because once this comes out and it's exposed, people need to be arrested. They need to be jailed. I want to see people hung. I like to see a live firing squad. I want to see these types of, let's just say, solves in some way. Why are we sitting here and saying, well, we don't want pay-per-view, we don't want this, you want a boxing match during what, July 4th? No, I want to see live people hung for treason and sedition on the White House lawn, on the Washington Monument. I want to see these people burn for what they did on January 2021. I want to see the steel in the face, so everybody that pushed back, the media, I want to see them broken. I want to see them arrested, because they're part of this whole narrative. They're part of this as accomplices after the fact. Material witnesses, so to speak. All these people systematically need to burn. We need to see it. We need to witness it. We should not be like, well, they're going to go to Gitmo and behind the scenes, all this stuff. No! You should demand you see justice in front of your face. You should demand people are executed for the crimes of treason and sedition right before your eyes. Do not imagine it outside the purview of what? Seeing what should be done, that we can understand that has been facilitated and orchestrated out. We cannot sit by idly and not get a glance of understanding what this future portents will be without recognizing the punishment for those who want to commit it again. Don't be reluctant of saying we don't need it, Marshall.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think we're heading to the right direction.
I think so too. That's our show tonight. I just want to say good night. God bless. Be well. Be straight. Everything that is taking place is what you wanted. This is the desired outcome of the stolen election, and we are now heading to some type of drumhead that is going to break everything, ladies and gentlemen. Is that your final thought? Is that what you're saying?
It's all good. Everything that's happening, we are dialed in. I think everybody just needs to calm down. Don't worry about all the little stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And look, Friday, I think we're going to see a lot of things coming up.
I think so too. I will appear on Thomas's show on Thursdays, but he's been out of it because of the weather. I will see everybody there on Thursday at 4:00. Marshall and I will return on Friday with some really good stuff. Have a good evening. Be well. Be safe. Do not be reluctant. And only be what? Realistic about the reality that you need to see these things and we need to see it through. We need to see the end through, and we need to make sure that everybody else does simultaneously. Ciao, Bella.